Hi, Debbie Lichter here with Free from Food Addiction and the Congruence Code. So welcome to video 3 of the 3-part video series, How to Stop Feeling Anxious. Okay, so if you got the first 2 videos, you've already learned what to do if you are somebody who struggles with feeling your feelings, and if you're somebody who has a tendency to play by other people's rule book. You tend to people please, you tend to try to get it right, you tend to be perfect. You learned what to do instead so that you can really shift out of that natural byproduct of doing either of those things, which is anxiety. Now we're here to talk about a third way that I see so many people becoming anxious. And I relate to it because this was totally me too, absolutely, is living into the future, not being present, thinking 25 steps ahead, and catastrophizing about all the potential things that may or may not happen, and then freaking out about them and getting anxious about it. Let me know if you relate to that. It's so interesting because, when we feel anxious, it feels very much like it's happening in the moment, especially if you've ever had a panic attack. You know what I'm talking about. It's like you are getting very physical signals that there is a lot going on for you in the moment. However, oftentimes our mind is not in the moment. Our mind is way out in the future, freaking out about something that may or may not happen. Here's the other thing that happens in the situation is that we also collapse time. So even though we're like super tripping out into the future, we also collapse time where all of a sudden it feels like all the decisions have to be made right now. Everything needs to be figured out right now. We have to do everything right now. It's all super urgent and super important, and it all needs to be determined right now in this moment. And talk about anxiety, right? I mean, the image that I get is the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, that I'm late for a very important date. It's like all of a sudden we get this self-imposed feeling of stress, of urgency, of everything resting on our shoulders, and our mind just goes nuts with all the potential ways that this can blow up in our face, all the potential ways that we can fail, that we can look stupid, that we can be judged, and this is really, really setting us up for continual anxiety and panic attacks, and for just constant state of overwhelm and obsession and not feeling comfortable in your own skin, never feeling calm, not having the confidence to put yourself out there, holding back. If you relate to any of these things, then this can be something really powerful for you. And what I want to share with you is not only how to shift from that, but I also want to share with you, everything that we've been talking about in these 3 videos. It all comes down to our perception. Our perception. So we might have a perception, it's not safe for me to feel my feelings. And so then we take certain actions, and then that results in the anxiety. Or we have a perception or a belief that I've got to get it right, or that other people's way of doing things supersedes and overrides my own inner guidance of how to do something or what feels good and true and expansive for me. And then as we try to, fit ourselves into that mold, then it brings up all this anxiety. And so in this way as well, when we have a perception that we need to figure out all these things that may or may not happen, that it's resting on our shoulders, all this stuff, it takes us away from being present. Perception keeps you up in your mind. And when we're up in our mind and we're in the fear-based mental construct of the mind, then we're completely cut off from everything else. Our body, our intuition, our sense of grounding, our sense of center, our sense of support, of connection, all that stuff goes right out the window when we're in perception mode. Perception mode puts a filter between you and the world around you. And so you're not able to be present, you're not able to be connected, you just are, you're like one step removed from that in your own little vacuum of obsession and possibility. And that is a place that can feel really, really isolating, really alone, and create a lot of anxiety. And so what do you want to do instead? Well, what you definitely want to do is you want to get present. You want to get present. You want to be here now. And this is such a powerful thing to do. First of all, it's just really important to recognize that when you are in that future tripping mode, that is not the truth. That is a figment of your imagination, and that your imagination is choosing to go down some rabbit hole that is not serving you. And so just knowing that and realizing that can give you the clarity to be able to do something different. And so what do? Well, we've got to set aside whatever that thought process is. So you want to go ahead and set that stuff aside and then really just let yourself be present. So important. This is something that I am so passionate about. I've got tons of videos, tons of resources. I will leave a link below with a link for my 5 top presence practices, a download, really easy, quick reference sheet that you can print out and keep with you to support you in being more present. And it ultimately is supporting you in getting out of anxiety, because when you are present, when you are connected, when you are in this moment, when you are just here, right now, you might have a concern about something. You might even, get a little scared about something. But if you're able to come back into a place of presence, then you will very soon realize that unless you're being chased by a bear or your life is directly being endangered in this moment, you will realize that you are actually okay in this moment, that you are getting what you need in this moment. And that's all that you need to do right now, is be right here, right now. Let this moment take care of itself. Breathe and just be. It is so, so powerful. One of my favorite ways to do that, and I just did it actually the other day, is just to bring your awareness down into your feet. Take a few breaths into your body. Just start to ground and land yourself and realize that it is okay, that you are okay. So huge. And the larger conversation, and the place that I love to meet people, is really having a look at and getting more clarity around where the part of you that believes that the universe is supporting you on a psychological or a conceptual level, where that is incongruent with what your experience is in the moment. Because, as Thomas Merton says, anxiety is actually spiritual insecurity. And so it doesn't mean that you don't have spiritual beliefs or spiritual values. You might have those. Most of the people that I speak to actually do. But if in the moment, if you're getting anxiety, if you're getting panic attacks, then all I am sharing with you is that there's an opportunity for you to gain greater access in and reliance upon that very connection. That there might be just an access issue happening. There might be some blockage that's going on that is preventing you from experiencing that in your life. And if you sense that maybe something like that is going on, if you're somebody who already has spiritual beliefs, but you notice that you get anxious a lot and you get into this pattern a whole lot, then instead of going back into the mode of like, I've got to figure this out all on my own, it's all up to me, it's all got to happen right now, I invite you to be open to actually getting some clarity and some counsel and seeing if you might be able to gain some support in putting those pieces together so that you can save yourself all of that stress and more anxiety and really get the clarity that you need so that you can move through the pattern, gain greater access to the truth, to the remembering that you are connected, that you are provided for, and that just allows you to experience more ease, more presence, and more peace of mind readily, not having to wait for that stuff. So if that is something that you want, definitely let's chat. I would love for you to either hop on a call with me, or I would love for you to meet me over at the Congruence Collective. You can head over to liveyourlight.today, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be uploading and sharing in the document section of our private Facebook group I'm going to be sharing a document there with my 5 top tips to shifting out of anxiety. It's going to be partly a summary of some of the things you've been hearing over these 3 videos, but it's putting it in a 5-step process that you can just print out, you can keep it with you, you can memorize, and more importantly, you can practice in your own life. That's what these tools are for. They're meant to be practiced. So liveyourlight.today. I will leave that link below. I will leave another link below for you to hop on a call with me if that's something that you are inspired to do. And ultimately, I am so here for you. So just leave a comment, let me know how I can support you, and it's been wonderful to spend this time with you. Thanks again, and I'll connect more with you next week when we share a fresh new video. Bye for now.